All right, we're good. All right. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for staying with us. We are going to be getting into the second game of this best of three series. We saw Team Sigh on the red side just overall dominate. Amazing jungling performance coming out from the Moby Rush Nautilus. That was definitely something TS Lust has had to have practiced before because he made it look easy. Managing to basically feed his entire team, get all of his lanes ahead, and just dominate the early game outright. But the sides have switched. We have seen some strategies being used. I want to see how Team Dada can react to the composition, the Juggernaut that Team Sigh did run out. Of course, this time Team Sigh is on the blue side. We're going to see if there are going to be any significant changes in the pick and ban. So far, everything's the same except the Lulu ban now coming from the red side, Team Dada. Interesting. So we're going to be seeing the Viger ban, despite it being handled well. I suppose that is because of the Lulu ban, so that does make a lot of sense. They don't want to run the risk of any of their squishes getting one-shotted without the wild growth. But TS Wrath locking in the Dr. Mundo. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be in for a real treat here as you're about to see something incredibly broken. It couldn't go top or jungle. I'm gonna just predict, let's say, that this is gonna be a jungle Mundo. And I'm really interested to see how Lust. He did a great job on this first tank. I want to see him continue his very impressive performance.
So, like I said from before, if you're blue side first pick and it doesn't get banned, guess who shows up?
Take it. We are going to be seeing the hovers, though, coming in from the red side, Team Dada. Fly Guy Rich and Probable. I haven't seen a lot of Udyr, to be honest, in this patch, mainly because there are a lot of more OP junglers. For example,
at least Rek'Sai, Kindred Lee Sin.
Well, Rek'Sai's banned, but the rest of those are all available. But ladies and gentlemen, we got the one and only the deer. Ladies and gentlemen, is going to be making an appearance. Get ready with the gates, because Fly Guy Rich locking in the Udyr. Darius, still a very strong juggernaut in the top lane. Not the OP, 100% pick ban that he used to be, but definitely still a contender. Can do a lot of damage, and just like anything else in any team fight, you let him get that 5 stacks, and he starts ulting people, and bam, suddenly you got a pentakill.
But yeah, I'm happy though at the adaptation that we're seeing here, because there is now finally that Lulu ban. And then we have Jinx and Braum getting locked in on the side of Team Sigh. Even though Call Mall was still open, as I mentioned from before, you don't have access to the Lulu, you can't run the Call Mall because then you still need that source of self-peel for him. And the only thing you have left besides Lulu and Call Mall is Janna Call Mall, even that Janna doesn't provide as much for Call Mall like Lulu does.
In terms of peeling for your AD carry, seeing already 2 melee dangerous threats on the side of Team Dada in the form of Udyr and Darius, I'm a little surprised they didn't pick Janna. Although Braum does do a lot better early game, especially in his laning phase, it's very overpowering. I feel like the Janna here would provide more consistent peel.
In terms of the team fighting, right?
Yeah. But maybe they're not concerned about it. Maybe their team size feeling very confident after their first win that they can just win lane, win game. And it's not like Braum's a bad pick in a team fight. It's just
right. But
between Braum and Janna, in terms of peeling and saving your AD carry from the likes of a Udyr and the likes of a Darius, I would prefer the Janna. But, played well, Braum can do just as good as a job.
Something amazing to point out, though, is that as chat has said, Tamkench is open, and in another champion that's open, Soraka.
Ooh. Unfortunately, the Thresh was locked in, and we do see the mid-Zillion is going to be making an appearance. I'm going to have to double-check the statistics here one moment to see if this is a new sudden twist that Bazale's been cooking up, or if this is an old time pick.
I saw it get picked in the international wildcard tournaments for All Stars. So it's gonna be interesting to see how well that fits in here, especially with what 80 carry they decided to
I
pick.
expect it to be a hyper carry, right?
Yeah,
Because
it
you
has to
wouldn't
be a
use the
hyper
ultimate
carry.
for
It's probably gonna be the Tristana pick.
Tristana does do pretty well against Jinx. That's true.
Because when you think about it, you want to compare her reset potential with the Zillion ulti, and then we can put those two together. It just makes her want to look for those resets even more.
Oh yeah.
So this is very good team composition that we have over from Team Side because they were able to get that Mundo, they were able to get Malphite as well. So they have a really strong tank line that has really good disruption and CC abilities in team fights. And then you have the Jinx late game scaling damage and the burst damage from the Lux / wave clear. And the Vayne gets locked in now. I'm very iffy on this pick right now just because along with the fact that Vayne loses in terms of like the laning matchup against Jinx just because Jinx has both more wave clear and more range over the Vayne.
Yeah.
It's gonna also be interesting to see how she can handle Mundo and Malphite because even though Vayne is one of the best tank killing 80 carry champions in the game, it's still the fact that Mundo right now is very, very ridiculously hard to handle.
It's still a Malphite. It's still a Mundo, and it's a Braum. Like those are maybe exchange Braum for Alistair, and those are like the 3 tankiest possible picks for their roles.
And then when you take into account the CC and disruption abilities that they have, along with all the other damage sources coming out, it's gonna be very hard for Vayne to be that damage dealing threat. I'm gonna be a little surprised in terms of like Zillion damage output just because it's mostly off of just the bombs, because when you look at his abilities, his only damaging ability is bombs.
I feel like the idea is Bazale will be I'm not familiar with the names of the spells, but the speed up, his ability to increase drastically the movement speed of his.
Oh yeah, it's called a rewind.
Rewind. Okay, so he's going to be using that onto Darius so that the Darius can just plow his way through the front line and just go straight into TS Wrath. Because yes, Lust on this Mundo and Greed on Malphite will do some.
Oh wait, never mind. Actually, rewind is the thing that reduces the cooldown on the other abilities. Time warp is what we were calling it. Yeah, time warp.
That makes a lot of sense.
Time warp, and then the ulti is Chrono Shift. And when you think about Echo's Chrono Break, all these time abilities. Speaking of Echo, it's been a while since I've seen that champion get picked ever since the last patch. I remember him being evolved in was when they reduced the base stats on his abilities but increased the AP scalings on him just so that you want to do tank Echo and be more of a AP Echo build.
I'm still seeing some pros. Like I see Bjergsen occasionally play him, so he's not completely out of the meta. I think he's still fine. It's just that as a whole, AP mid laners and champions kind of got the short end of the stick in this preseason because their items now cost way more, basically.
Every minute or so, Zillion can save Vayne spotting incidents. That is true.
So, looking at these team comps, it just, for me, Team Sigh has the easier composition, 100%. They have such a tanky front line. They have a Jinx and they have a Lux. That is so much damage from those two positions. Yes, if you shut them down, they're going to die, 100%. But the problem is, in League of Legends, there are many varieties of peeling, right? But there's 2 main centered ways to protect your carries, right? The first is what we saw in the last game, the Juggernaut, with the shields and the peeling abilities, right, of the champions of the Morgana and the Lulu. The second way, and I think this is very viable, is a fat front line. And who gets fatter than Mundo Malphite Braum? Yes, maybe if a Darius is standing on top of a Jinx, the only thing they can do is slow him and maybe Braum stun. But again, that's assuming the Darius can walk through a Mundo, a Malphite, and a Braum. This is not going to happen. So this impenetrable fortress is going to stand tall while Wrath and Sloth can just do the most damage behind it. And I think it's going to be incredibly effective. I think what's going to have to happen is somehow either Strajaja just gets fed, because I doubt Improbable will, considering Lust was living in his lane last game. So he's probably going to shut Improbable down, which means that Strajaja either needs to win lane, which isn't likely because the matchup isn't even favorable, or just somehow get fed in early grouping or something. Because if that doesn't work out, then just as soon as they transition to the mid game, Team Sigh is going to be 100% okay.
But yeah, you said two ways, but there is that third potential way in order of peeling for an AD carrying team fight. One of that way is
What would that be?
death. You just kill their front line before they hit the AD carry. Death is
Oh,
the best CC.
that's true. But again, I mean, heck, even when I play AD carry, the last thing I want to do is like deal with a Malphite walking at me. Even if he does no damage, and even if I'm life stealing all of it, I could be full gold. I'm probably still going to be standing there for at least a good 10 seconds, just autoing away and making him like scream while I tickle him with damage.
I mean, honestly, when I play AD carry, the only time I'll be happy with a Malphite walking up to me is if I have flash so that I can just flash his ulti, but then it becomes more of a problem when he has flash himself, so then he just alt flashes or just flash ults, and then you're just like, okay, if he alt flashes, I'm probably gonna die.
Definitely.
You know, alt flashes is very hard to react to. There's a difference between alt flash and then flash alt, because the flash alt, you see the flash, so you react to the flash. But the alt flash, when they ult, you're just like, oh, why is he ulting? And then he just flashes on top of you, and then you're just like, oh, so that's why he ulted. There are a lot of crazy flash ult tricks in this game. There's particularly one with Lux. It'll be really cool if TS Sloth could pull it out, where with Lux, if you ult in one direction and then you flash into a different direction, your ult, visually, it goes out in the direction you're looking at, but it'll hit where you flash to. So it's a very good way of catching someone off guard, because they won't expect the ult to hit them. It's very hard to do though, because if you fuck it up, by all means, people are going to look at you like you're like a troll or something.
The summoner has disconnected.
Looking at the summoner spells across the board, Team's TS Sloth is going to be taking that Ignite. He took Cleanse last time against the Viger matchup. He's going to be taking Ignite this time. Bazale going to be chilling and grooving on that Zillion. He has Heal. Not sure how effective that's going to be. If you wanted a defensive summoner, I think Barrier would have been the better choice, to be honest. Yeah, I don't like Heal. But yeah, talking about win conditions, as I mentioned before, Team Sigh, very easy. Just kind of group up and let your front line do work. I honestly don't think that the 5v5 is that exquisite from Team Dada. I think what they're going to need to do is have Fly Guy quickly farm up to his attack speed items and then just split push. And
right, that's what I've been mentioning before, right? In terms of these team compositions that come out of the draft, because when you go into the draft phase after you've done your bans, you want to consider, okay, out of what got banned, what is left? That's OP, mind you. That you can pick onto your comp, as well as round out your whatever you want your composition to do. Because if you want your composition to have 5v5 team fighting abilities, by all means, you're going to opt for all these AoE abilities like Jinx, Braum, Malphite. But if you have some other composition you have in mind, you're looking to go for picks or maybe just split rotations around the map, you're going to look for more mobility / split push style of champions that can also maybe even be able to kite. But you know, in terms of kiting right here from the side of the Destroyer, it's going to be really hard for them, I think, to just be able to engage a fight, because in terms of fight initiations, all they have going for them is hooks, really. You have Thresh Hook and you have Darius Hook, and then Udyr kind of just stuns whoever got hooked into, like, you know, follow-up CC and damage. But then from Team Psy, you have Braum a Q that can potentially catch out someone. You have Lux Binding, you have Mono isn't really engaged, but he just follow up just because he can run in there and then be a little disruptive. And then you have the Malphite ulti for that prime source of engage for now.
Apologies for the delays, folks. Looks like we do have disconnect on the side of Team Psy, who are blue side this time. And as far as tournament regulations go, it's the same as the split. So Team Psy does have 10 minutes of pause time available to them, 3 pauses. Hopefully, I believe it was Greed who disconnected. I'm based off my really bad short-term memory. I believe it was Greed. So hopefully he gets back in here so we can start this second game off here. But yeah, apart from that, so one nice thing that I guess Team Dada does have ready. Oh, it looks like we're going to be beginning the game soon. is that the Malphite Darius matchup is pretty one-sided in the favor of the Darius. As long as you're landing your decimates, your decimate heal, then you're fine, right? Because what's the Malphite going to do? He's just going to poke you a bit, maybe walk in to do a trade with you and then walk out. But as long as you're landing your decimate heal, you're going to sustain through all that damage, and then you're going to hurt him, and you have that true damage. So it's not like the Malphite can just stack hard armor and get away with it. So in that regard, I do think Improbable does have the advantage. Of course, once again, as I mentioned before, Team TS Lust was living in every lane. He wasn't a jungler. TS Lust did not jungle last game. He was a 5th laner in every single lane. And he just did not care about a thing in the world. So that was very intriguing to watch, to say the least. We are going to be seeing the gates open and both teams pour out into the rift. We're going to be seeing some, what looks like pretty standard posturing from both sides, checking the rivers, checking the entrances, making sure that everything's Gucci. Golden Radish here, going to be taking a very aggressive approach to get that ward on. TS Raz unable to get the ward killed. Even with Jinx's minigun, there's no ever a possible way that you can kill that ward.
Well, I got rich with the Team Fire Flare.
Oh, is that's active right now?
Yeah.
Fire and Ice. Oh, that's so cool. And it does a really cool animation when you get a kill, right?
Yeah, it bursts into fire. Or if you have ice, you just go into a pillar of ice and then you just break apart.
That's cool.
Minions have spawned.
120. We're gonna be seeing very standard. Excuse me. We're gonna be seeing some very standard jungle storms coming in from both sides. Again, I'm gonna keep my eyes even closer on TS Lust. I want to see where this guy chooses to route and how he makes his decisions. Because I'm just appalled. Last game he did a great job, and granted, it was in part due to the fact that Team Dada Destroyers were not prioritizing vision in the early game, and they definitely will punch for that. So I'm gonna hope to see that we see that adjustment come from Team Dada, and that we see the continued vision pressure that we saw from Team Sigh.
So yeah, as I mentioned before, in terms of 2v2 matchup, we have the Jinx with the superior wave clear can just shove Vayne into the tower.
Yeah. And that's honestly, that's a really good place to put her, because you know that Fly Guy Rich is not going to return bot lane after his half clear. So you can push Vayne very early on, and for the most part, always be safe, unless the Udyr were to do a gank bot lane after blue buff. So you can just ward the river for that. So I really like that TS Wrath is already pushing the wave in, and is going to be applying pressure both to the turret and to the bot lane of Team Dada.
You want to know what would be a surprising champion to see as the series goes on for today?
What's up?
Surprised to see Ilayoi.
Ooh, that's true. I haven't even bought the champion, so I haven't even gotten to play it. But from what I've seen, she's a very powerful juggernaut that excels in just like brawly, like fist fight close range. But I'm still not sold on the whole technical aspect. It definitely
it's a very weird kid. A little trade happened right there in the top lane, and in Probable's favor, and there's the potential gank happening. Will the cleaver hit? It does, and just wants to let him walk away with that cleaver in his back.
He's throwing briefcase this time around.
Oh, true.
That's my favorite Mundo skin. I love it. The only one better than that actually is the TPA one, because of the sound effect that you get from throwing the trophy.
Mundo never merge, Mundo acquire.
I love that. TS Greed though, going toe to toe with Improbable. Gonna be taking an axe to the face. He's not gonna be caring. He's a rock. He can just put more gravel on his wound and heal it, or whatever rocks do. I have no idea. Or is he a mountain? I believe Malphite's a mountain, now that I think about it.
Just a really big rock.
He's Earth. TS Slot though, gonna be missing that first God, I don't play Lux. I believe it's the Singularity? Yeah.
Hook lands onto the Braum with a little trade happening there, but can't quite get the Silver Bolt proc, so it's really do much.
Oh, here's a thought. Is all right. So Braum is going to be running that Bond of Stone. Golden Radish opting not to. He's actually going Strength of the Ages. Do you see that?
Oh yeah, he is. Interesting.
That's an interesting little difference. Personally, I think Bond of Stone is just so good. Even if you're not around somebody, just having that 4% damage reduction is so nice. Although Joden will be eating a hook into a flay. Will the Silver Bolts proc? Yes, it will. Joden taking about a little less than half of his health, but he's going to be able to regen with the biscuits up, no problem. Nice hook though from Golden Radish, getting that accuracy on, getting his throwing arm warmed up. You know, going to be throwing chains all day.
But yeah, when it comes to keystone matches on the bottom lane for the supports, all I've been seeing is either Bond of Stone for those either tank supports or just the melee ones, or Thunderlord's Decree for those AP range supports like Morgana and Nami. I have seen a Thunderlord's Decree on Thrushes before.
That'd be very interesting. I haven't tried that yet.
It's a very interesting amount of like surprise damage, so it helps with Thrushes laning in terms of just getting overall burst damage coming out. Because then you hook, you flay, and then you get that auto attack in. That's the third ability that you need, and then you just get your proc off. It's a little good surprise of extra damage, especially if you're running Ignite too.
TS Sloth actually the only single one running Ignite right now.
But yeah, in terms of the items right now, the only one that has backed so far has been the jungler, so he had the Tracker's Knife on the Mundo. Speaking of Mundo, he's looking to get this gank
again.
off. The misses the slow. But
second again, he doesn't.
This is a Narc Cleaver too.
Yes, less stuff.
And the Narc Cleaver gets missed as well.
Cleavers are clearly not anchors. Now we know where TS Lost lays his speciality. Not rushing movies like he did last time, does decide to finish the Tracker's Knife and then go for Boots of Speed.
But yeah, the Looter though has the Bambi Cinder, so he will be looking for the Cinder Hulk as he attempts to go for the Spite right here, but will the Snare land? It misses, and the slow does come off though. Will this be a kill actually? The Ignite taking off as a shield, he flashes away. Can the auto attack come off? Oh, but the heal coming out from Basil just barely saves Fly Guy Rich.
Was the heal? Yeah, I suppose the heal.
It was the heal, and then he time warped him to keep him safe.
Oh, wow.
The BM snare. Ooh,
Yeah,
good. Good little stand aside on the minion to dodge the hook.
In the bot lane, basically completely even. Both ADCs still have their potion. Both ADCs.
Ooh, Winter's Bite lands on the main, but they couldn't quite aggress on her at that point in time, and you know, this game is a lot less one-sided compared to last game. You know, it's very even right now.
Lust still showing his aptitude for early aggression, ganking very often, but he hasn't had much luck. In part due to his mechanical slip up. I want to say he's been missing a lot of flavors that he should have been landing, but Improbable also not overextending much to give him that opportunity to gank. So kudos to him. Plus, though, going to be posturing into the bottom lane. Will get spotted by the minions, of course, so he's not going to be able to get much done there, I would expect. Meanwhile, Improbable just facing this large minion wave, he's probably just going to end up letting it hit the turret. Although he should have realized that TS Lust is bot lane, so if he wanted to, he could go very aggressive off his Malphite. 8 minutes on the clock, 11.2 to 11.1, so basically very, very even game thus far. No lane with a significant advantage. Improbable 10 CS up, but TS Lust about 10 CS up. Mid lane and AD carry basically even minion for minion. And we are actually, I didn't even comment on this. Look again, Sloth is going for that Frostfang once more. I guess Spooky Ghost isn't limited to only Lulu.
Yeah, it doesn't sound too bad in theory on Lux, you know, because then you get the slow off, helps you land your snare into your burst damage.
That's true. And we're going to be seeing 3 top. Oh, Improbable, that's not what you want to be.
Oh, the snare lands, and two ults get used, and that is First Blood going over to Sloth.
I feel like that was a little much. The unstoppable force with the final spark. But the damage gets done, and now TS Sloth is going to be taking the Rift Arrow. Like
He did have Flash, though, so I guess the unstoppable force is probably needed.
I guess, that's true. Bot lane still farming up pretty easy. TS Sloth will be taking the Rift Herald. is probably going to head over to his turret just to pick up these couple minutes back, and then once again go for the aggression. Roseo trying to zone him out, trying to do what he can. Bot lane, just another farm fest. Although I love seeing the different mastery trees from the 280 carries. Notice that Jinx has biscuits, but Sriraja doesn't.
That's true. So it's the 18-12-0 versus the 18-0-12.
Honestly, I'm more in favor of the 18-0-12. While I do think Dangerous Game is really good, as well as the mastery that deals more damage to lower health targets, I feel like just the Summoner Spell cooldown reduction from the, I believe, the third tree to that.
Yeah, it's from the third tree. Yeah, so it's very interesting to see in terms of what players want to go for. What do they want to opt for, the dangerous game and the execution damage, or do they opt for just the general safety that having a lower Summoner Spell cooldown gives you? So it's interesting, especially if they depending on what if the 80 carry they play to, because if you have that Summoner Spell and then you have Ionian boost as well, we're talking about even lower cooldown for both your flash and your heal. Speaking of Ionian boost, I'm actually surprised that we haven't been seeing many top laners pick that up, just because it gives you a lower Summoner Spell cooldown on that teleport as well. Like, granted, you would probably want the tenacity from the Murtra just because that's the only thing you get tenacity from at this point in the game, but then it's like a lower Summoner Spell cooldown on your teleport is still pretty good, because when you have that along with the what's called the mastery point for lower Summoner Spell cooldowns, we're talking, I think it's 3 minutes and 30 seconds Summoner Spell cooldown on teleport.
$11 minutes onto the clock as we are getting to this game here, though. Improbable and Greed going back at it, a little fight. Although we are going to see posturing in the Dragon. Fly Guy Rich caught dangerously out of position. His team is coming to help him, but I believe he's going to drop down. There it is.
Oh, the Glacial Fissure does get the knockup, though, as the Vayne gets the proc onto her from the concussive blows with the flash auto attack from Lux, who is kind of low health right now, but he's gets the shield from the Sloth, so he doesn't even die to the thresh damage.
Lazelle was completely locked out of the fight. There was nothing he could do. He couldn't even ult his teammates because they were on the opposite side. I am very perplexed what Fly Guy was attempting to do there, because it felt like he just got completely entrapped.
Yeah, he got caught out in there, and then his team tried to do something despite him getting caught. But then you just got to look at all the AoE abilities that they have. They have Glacial Fissure, they have Lux's Final Spark, and it's just so much AoE damage, and just a lot amount of CC too. Because when you look at the CC, you're talking Brahm's concussive blows just can be proc on anyone, and then you have the snare on top of the one of those slows as well, and it just works out to be a nice win from that skirmish for Team Sigh.
It was 1-0 and about a 500 gold lead for Team Sigh. It is now 4-0. The first turret has been taken for Team Sigh, and now they are up by almost 4,000 gold in that blink of an eye. So a very costly mistake. Beginning with Fly Guy Rich getting caught out, and just the rest of his team trying to follow up to save him, but unfortunately falling before the hands of Team Sigh. So, Team Dada, once again, 12-minute mark, behind. I want to see how they adjust this time, how they can stem the bleeding if possible.
But we also have a finished rapid fire cannon for Jinx with the BF sword too.
I've been testing around actually with some of these builds, and what I've been doing, especially on Jinx recently, has been the BF sword and the pickaxe from the Infinity Edge, and then I finish my attack speed item.
That's actually what I do as well, because the way I look at it is that BF sword and pickaxe can be both 65 AD, so when you compare that to the finished IE has 20% crit, and then the passive, which is only plus 50% crit damage, so that's barely anything, like comparatively wise, when you have like only 65 attack damage. And then I just feel that it's much better just to have the AD components from IE and then finish your attack speed item, because your attack speed item already gives you the IE crit off of the Zeal alone. So it's just how I look at it in terms of just gold efficiency wise.
It's a bit slower towards it's.
And then from there, you also have to take into account like how much gold you have when you back, because if you have BF sword pickaxe, let's say you're out for a while and then you back and then you have like 1500, you might as well just finish the IE then, just because you already finished that IE.
Right.
I feel. But then if you back and you have like 1200, you might as well go for finishing the attack speed item.
The difference is that finishing the IE, I mean, obviously, yeah, it's a power spike, if you will, right? Because you finish your first item, but it's not that great. Whereas, if you invest those resources towards starting your attack speed item, and then comparatively, yes, you're going to be a little bit behind in damage, but then a moment or two later, when you finish the attack speed item, you're going to be significantly more ahead than you were if you had just completed that Infinity Edge because of the attack speed, the crit that you're getting. The only difference is that your crits won't do as much, but if you're going to be critting more because you're attacking more anyway, it balances out.
Right.
But enough of the theory crafting. The Rift Herald is going to be taken by the side of Team Sigh. Team Yes Wrath does manage to secure that, and we'll be heading to the top lane. TS Sloth getting I forgot the ability name. Is it the Time Warp?
Yeah, Time Warp.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kill going over to Team Siren as they look to take this top lane tower. And they also have the Rift Herald too on the minions, so they could potentially get 2 towers out of this.
Oh, are we gonna be seeing a base race?
It's a really bad base race to attempt just because Lux has the wave clear and the only champion with AD from them is the Udyr. And yeah, this, like I said, it's gonna be 2 towers. You have the Rift Herald, you can just go straight for these tower push.
This was a very.
And they can't even get a tower on mid lane because, like I said, Lux has that wave clear with the final spark.
Oh, this is gonna be really, really bad for Team Dada destroyed. They still
and we have the Vayne on the bottom side of the map too, because she needs to get farmed. She needs to farm in order for her to scale up, so she can't even be allocated the top lane right now.
The entire top side of the map. Fly Guy, oh, buddy, that's not where you want to be at all, mate. There's going to be the Zap landing, another cleaver, excuse the briefcase. There's the Super Mega Death Rocket. Fly Guy does manage to avoid it.
Oh, that Time Warp! You can't move!
That is absolutely ridiculous.
So I'm not sure about how he's maxing Zillion on right now, but like Time Warp at rank 5 is a 99% slow. So you can literally troll someone by Time Warping them, pressing Ween Ryan, and then Time Warping them again. And they're like 99% slow both times. It's freaking obnoxious. But yeah, it's and there's the Rift Herald is still active on the Jinx too, so it looks like there's gonna be 3 towers instead of 2.
Yeah, it's about 20 seconds left on this buff. So, oh, Golden Rash still does manage to secure the hook and goes in. Jordan gonna be taking a lot of damage underneath the turret, but the focus is on to TS Lust. Team Side is kite back, and Bravo getting a hit really hard. Black Guy Rich is the first casualty of the fight, and Bravo manages securing the Noxian Guillotine, does get the kill onto TS Lust, will be forced to proc that Zillion ultimate, and Bravo getting back up, so Dada chasing. And we're going to be seeing a disengage from these fights, so a 2-for-1. Bazil with the, I believe it's Chrono Shift is the name of the ability.
Chrono Shift.
And, you know, slight little misstep, slight greedy play, trying to take that turret.
You know, for the most part, when it comes to Chrono Shift, whenever you see the target has the hourglasses flowing around them, you don't want to kill the target just because then they get a lot of HP back, but...
Oh, TS Greed. He still had the unstoppable force. Look at that.
Interesting. What a turnaround to get the kill onto Darius, and that's another kill with the Condemn. Pulling Jinx back a little too late.
I was about to say that was an overextension from Team Sigh, and that actually Team Dada, the 2-for-1, they won that. That was a 1 trade. But then they underestimated the cooldown length of TS Greed's unstoppable force. They got turned around, and it's ended up being a 3-for-1 in the favor of Team Sigh. So once again, worth it.
So the chat just mentioned why he's going Cinderhulk Udyr instead of Sated Udyr. I think the reason is just because if he were to go for the Sated Devour, it would take him too long to scale up. And considering the state that the game is in right now, where you have this lead going over to Team Sigh, it would take him too long to scale up to get that Sated Devour, and by the time he probably finishes the Sated Devour, it might be game over for him, so he just needs a defensive item right now to scale up. And also, if he did went for the Sated Devour, it would have been a lot of scenarios where he probably would have died a lot quicker, because then he wouldn't have had the extra resistances from the Cinderhulk.
If you were going to pick a jungler and rush Cinderhulk, why pick Udyr, right? Oh, hold on a minute, we're waiting to a tower down under Sir Jaja. TS Lust taking the turret, he doesn't care about anything.
Like a champ, look at that.
He doesn't care. Mundo, ladies and gentlemen. Mundo takes, what, 9? That had to have been like 8 tower shots at least, right? Something like it.
I don't think even the Grievous Moon's last whisper even helps against him that much.
But yeah, back to my earlier point as Fly Guy Rich on this Udyr pick. If you're gonna pick a jungler to just rush Cinderhawk and be a tank, you know like you could have picked um, any of the available junglers. I believe Rek'Sai was banned, but you still could have picked
Kindred.
Kindred. I suppose you wanted a Cinderhawk jungler, right? You could have picked Nautilus. You could have picked Olaf. You could have picked.
Good build Cinderhawk on Elise too.
Yeah. Fly Guy going to be taking so much damage. He's going to be getting that Braum passive proc to NTS Wrath with the 6th kill of this game. He has been on fire this series. 8-0 in the last game, 6-0 here, doing so much work, padding the meters with that KDA there. Although, on the flip side, Team Dada Destroyers does manage to secure their first tower of the game, the mid tower going down. In response, Team Sigh will be taking their 2nd dragon of the game. 20 minutes on the clock, 9-2 in the favor of Team Sigh, with approximately an 8,000 gold lead.
And the Baron is live right now too, so they can even consider doing Baron whenever they feel like it or whenever the opportunity seems right for them. We saw how fast they took that Baron in the first game, so it is a possibility of happening.
Jinx does a lot of, just like a Kog'Maw, Jinx does so much damage to neutral objectives, and Mundo as well. Mundo does really good damage with the, I believe it's Burning Agony. And the Masochism can do a lot of damage there. Although we're seeing another over an extension. The Unstoppable Force does manage to secure on the backline of the Team Dada Destroyers. Jordan trying to run for his life. He's probably going to be the first casualty. The Super Mega Deathmarker does pop the ultimate coming in from the Zillion. There goes the 2nd kill of the death. Black Eye Rich can't do much. TS Greed just being too tanky, man. He's too tanky. He doesn't die. Sujaja with a nice flash does manage to secure the first death for Team Sigh. He's running for his life.
Oh, he dodges the cleaver, but the Twin Shadows, the spooky ghost.
No! Team TS Lust. What is it he says? He secures another acquisition. Oh, Mundo does not like to play around. 13-3, a 1 for 4, and most likely the inhibitor as well. Very well played. Although again, an overextension really from Team Sigh, just kind of diving underneath the turret and not caring at all. Greed, unstoppable forced onto both Bazale and to Strajaja and tanked all of their damage in like a good 10 seconds. And he just would not drop at all. What a rock.
We're seeing spooky ghosts on mid laners. Let's see if this is going to be a trend throughout the rest of the playoffs or if it's just for this one particular mid laner.
22 minutes on the clock, 11,000 more or less gold lead now for Team Sigh, 13-3. Talking once again, TS Wrath 7-1-5, doing an exquisite job this game. Again, the entire team across the board is doing spectacular. Something to note, TS Wrath also full kill participation, 100%.
The spooky ghost, the spooky ghost. But yeah, it seems this is gonna be the end of Fly Guy Rich right here. It seems that they have actually given up. And
that would explain potentially the BMing right there, yes. We're going to be seeing a very, very free and easy Baron take. Unless Bazale has anything to say about it. We're going to see if he's one of these...
Speaking of giving up, there was actually a surrender vote over for Team Sigh and it failed 1-4, so we can only guess who the one was.
Bazale will be dropping down, was forced to use his ultimate to save him. Probably will he get a kill? No. Sloth managing this fight because TS Wrath does way too much damage to Delta. Running for his life, running from the briefcase. He doesn't want to file his taxes. TS Lust coming in for the acquisition. Here we go. Here's the biggest fight we've always wanted to see. TS Lust. Oh, Sudaja manages to juke.
Oh, he's trying so hard to kite these people, but this Mundo is ridiculous right now.
No, he doesn't even get the kill. Greed will manage to secure it. Fly Guy Rich goes down once again, and there's the inhibitor being taken out.
And this looks like this is going to be a win over for Team Sigh right here.
Absolutely looks like it. Very well.
We have the GG coming out in chat as well as this 19-3 right here. This looks like it's going to be 2-0 in Team Sigh's favor.
Very excellently well played. Great strategy. Great teamwork coming in from Team Sigh to secure both these wins. As we see, the BM kills onto Golden Radish. Oh, no. Looks like the next is going to be taken up. But very well played to them. So there you have it. Team Sigh is going to be qualified and continuing on to the quarterfinals next weekend. I believe they are going to be playing Team Batch Ratchets. So congratulations to Team Sigh.